All right, we are joined by Oregon head coach Melissa Lombardi and players Kai Lushar, Lindsey Grine, and Paige Sinecki. A reminder to please silence your cell phones and then give your name and media affiliation when you get the mic to ask a question. No video of the press conference is allowed through your cell phone, and raise your hand if you want to ask a question on Zoom. So Coach Lombardi, if you want to have an opening statement, feel free. If not, we'll go to questions.
Okay, yes. First of all, we're really excited to be here. I think about this group in the end of September, and we met for the first time. And at that time, I could feel that they had a lot of energy and something was different. Something was very special about them. We spoke in the fall about winning a Big Ten. We spoke about winning, hosting a regional, hosting a super regional, and then putting ourselves into position to compete in OKC for a national championship. And to watch this team come together all year and have many moments of joy, many moments of adversity, and watch them handle both, which with such grace, was such determination to play hard and fight for each other, and then to watch them go into postseason and battle two very difficult teams and know that they were going to get what they want and push their way and get into Oklahoma City. They are committed to each other. They cannot wait to get started, and we are really looking forward to playing in such an amazing atmosphere in OKC.
Okay, we'll start front row left.
James Creppy with the Oregonian. Missy, following with that, talking with Patty earlier, she volunteered that one of the things that you had mentioned to her this year, that you felt that this was the right team. Why was this the right team? When you were losing as much as you were from last year with a senior-laden team, why was this the right team, either compared to last year or the 23 and 21 teams that had a lot of pitching, but maybe not the volume of depth of hitting and pitching that you had this year? But that's my observation. Why was this the right team in your mind?
It was the right team. I think of all of our versions prior to version 7, and they have helped prepare us to get to this point. Our seniors, they left the torch for this group to take it and run with it. But again, just in the fall, you could just feel such a difference with this group. There was so much more depth with this group in all areas, just with our culture. And I think of Kai and I think of Paige and what they have done for our culture this year and the leadership that they have provided. You could see this team start out as a team where for us as coaches, we had to help lead them along the way. But then as we got going and the more experiences that they got, the growth that they got through the tough schedule that we played, they started to become a player-led team. And I just look at what this group has done on the field, but more importantly, what they're doing off the field, and it's the deep connection that they have. There's no surface here. They play hard for each other. They have tough conversations because they know it's going to make each other better, and those are things that are needed besides us, also having a team that's very talented to be able to do the things that we've been able to do all year.
Okay, we'll go second row left.
Brett Taylor, KZI 9 Sports, Eugene, Oregon. A coach for you. You talked about the adversity this team had to overcome this season, but your journey here at Oregon has been one faced with adversity from 2019 to 2020 and COVID and losing half a season. Just what are some of the lessons you learned from your first 2 years that you were able to take in this season that allowed you to develop and grow these players and help get this squad to where they're obviously here today?
First off, every version that I've been a part of, every one of them has been so special. And I think of version 1, and it was a tough year for us. And you know what? We didn't feel sorry for ourselves. We stuck together, we battled through, and we had a great year. And I think of the next year and having to go into COVID and again, dealing with some tough times. But as a group, we always stuck together and pushed. We could either push through or feel sorry for ourselves, and we didn't want to do that. We wanted to push through and absolutely compete. And so just watching each version layer onto the next version and get them ready for what's next. Sometimes you just want something and you want it right now, but you need to nurture it a little bit, put it together. It just takes a little time. And you could see as we were going through it, you're starting to see these athletes that were coming in that were just understanding the vision completely and wanting in and wanting to compete. And you could just see that with this group. They want in. And They want our culture to be unbelievable, which is great. They want to be able to compete and love competing with each other, and they do. This group is such a hard-working team, and I don't think this group would be here without the foundation of version 1. So it was tough, but it was absolutely 100% worth this ride.
Okay, we'll go front row right.
Brady Vernon, Softball America, just to the players, to that point of just where this program's kind of been built up from the ground up. What is it like watching a coach do that and just putting all your faith into her?
Kai, if you want to go first and go down the line.
Yeah. It's just incredible. I think, like, we grow, but coaches also grow too. And it's super cool just to see, like, our journey and everything that we've been through together and where we're at right now. It's, it's just amazing. It's indescribable, honestly.
Yeah, I think watching the amount of work she's put in, obviously coming in as a transfer, I met Coach this past year. She really cultivates those relationships off the field just as she does on the field. So she's bought into you as a person before you as an athlete. So I think the way she's gone about making us a family and inviting us all into hers has shown up for the success that you guys have witnessed this season. So I'm super excited to carry that on.
Yeah, she's told us to trust her from day one, and I know all of us, especially the senior class, has just really bought into growing with her, and that's something that she's been able to do for us these years, and just being able to trust someone that's really helped us become great, young, and strong women. It's just so cool that it's bigger than softball at the end of the day, that she's trying to grow us for something bigger in life, so I think that's something that's been so awesome to have from her.
Okay, we'll go second row left to Eli.
Eli Letterman, ESPN. Kai, you mentioned that teams can grow, coaches can grow. When you think about the journey from September to now, whether it's the mile markers, a turning point, where do you see that growth, or where did you see it to get you guys here playing on the last weekend of May?
We did some things that we have never done before in the fall, and I think we just really learned to dive in and just attack and, like, let it loose, We had things in us that I didn't think, like, we were allowing to get let out, if that makes sense. So I think that has been one of the biggest things this year where we've grown, just to put it all on the table and let it be there, leave, come back the next day, do it all again.
Okay, front row left.
James Greppy with the Oregonian, first for Kai and Paige. To go back to, if you picked up the proverbial torch from the classes before, you've each managed to spend some time with players from the various different versions before you. We can look at numbers and stats and say, well, that's Ariel, or well, that's Bunk or Tara, or what have you, but we don't see all the other things that go on and all the trips and all those sorts of things. If you had to think of who are the shoulders that you stand on to get here, again, I can rattle off all the names, but who comes to mind for you two as to who those players were?
Kai, if you want to go first, Ken.
I think that's going to be different for every player, but for me personally, I think of, like, Hannah Delgado. There's so many. I honestly can't even tell you individual people, but all of them, but Hannah Delgado, Caitlin Howard, all kinds of people. So.
For me, I would say Allie Bunker. The moment I stepped on campus as a freshman, she took me under her wing and just taught me what it's like to be a leader on the field. And I was just able to grow so much from just her style of play. And she taught me a lot of things physically, but she was just this person that was a role model to me. And I think she was able to grow so much from Coach Lombardi, and I think she was able to teach me her ways and just help get this program to where it needs to be when she left.
What do you attribute the success of this season specifically? Because, again, you were already good at VOTEC, obviously, but how did you go from being really good to being great and nearly untouchable against top teams?
I mean, I think it was just the ability to play free. And I think that this group allowed me to do that between my coaches, our support staff, and then obviously my teammates. I think when you're around the right people and you're working towards one mission, it's easy to just go compete and play. And I'm really thankful to have a group that's allowed me to do that.
Okay, we go second row left.
Brett Taylor, KZI again. For each of the three players, each of you have had your own journeys, your own walks of life that you came for before you came to Oregon, and that you've dealt with in your time in Eugene. Can each of you describe what this moment being and the Women's College World Series means to you, considering that what each of you have gone through in your own individual lives and what you've gone through together as a team as well to get to this point?
Kai, if you could start, then go down the line.
It's a dream come true. Like, I came here in 2016 as a spectator with my dad, sister, and a friend, and most people will never get to experience it. So I'm just so grateful, and it's just astounding, coming here when you're little and then being able to play. It's incredible.
Yeah, I'd say on an individual level, it's just, it takes an army to accomplish what we've accomplished here at Oregon. And I think of the investment of everybody who's come across my journey and these young ladies' journeys as well, that's helped us. So I'm super grateful and thankful for the opportunity. And then as a team, it's just an honor to share the field again with these guys, especially in OKC.
I think for me, I've really realized that things in life really don't come easy, and so being able to have the discipline and the hard work all these years to just really be able to enjoy this moment with the girls to the left and right of you, it's really awesome. I just remember all the times growing up watching the game on TV, or even the past few years where maybe we fell short and didn't get here. So it's really cool to see a program like this just planting a seed for hopefully all of us can reap the harvest later on.
Okay, we go second row left, Eli.
Eli Letterman, ESPN. Melissa, you've compared this team, I believe, to Sid Romero's freshman team at OU, and I'm curious what parallels you see there in this group, and also off of what Kai said, maybe what you guys did differently in the fall that brought some different things out of this team.
I think about that group, and it was the same. It was a mixture of a young freshman class sprinkled in with some different, some older athletes that were experienced, and some athletes that were juniors and sophomores and juniors that were experienced. And so just going through this year, this group reminds me of that. The two teams are very different, obviously, but then similar with that. I think about our freshmen this year, and we talk a lot about taking on strain, and everybody needs to have the ability to take on strain, and usually you see that more through your upperclassmen that are experienced, and our upperclassmen have taken on a lot of strain, but then to watch our freshmen like Riley and to watch Stephanie Mayaki and just all these other guys, they've been a huge part of what we've done. And that's attributed to this group right here, our seniors, that have forced them to play at a high level. And I think about that in Coach Romero's year. They were forced to play at a high level from experienced athletes. And so to see our freshmen stand up to it and say, yes, let me know what you need me to, for them to, our seniors to ask them to play at a higher level and for them to do that. And so to me, that is the leadership that we have here that I'm really, really proud about. We have such great leadership on and off the field. They trust each other so much. They work hard and play hard for each other versus themselves. And I think that's really important when you're doing something like this and competing for a national championship. To speak on the fall, we got to do some things that were different than we've done before. We needed to push ourselves. We've pushed ourselves before, but we needed to push ourselves in a different way. And by that, we needed to understand how to do challenging things and not be stressed by challenging things, but to embrace and to enjoy every minute of it and the opportunity of it to get to versus have to. And I think the lessons that we learned in the fall really took us into the spring and set a really good foundation for our non-conference schedule. And then from there, that preparing us for our conference, and then again, preparing for postseason.
Okay, we go front row right.
Brady Vernon, South America. Missy, Lindsay's had a great season, but how much does also Elise and even Stacy in this postseason played into that as well?
They've all played into it. We've talked all year that if we want to be standing here, we have to have a staff to be able to do that. And what I'm very, very proud of is our staff and what they've done. This staff is different. This group is just different, but our staff is different as well. I love how much they love each other. I love that when they take the ball from each other, that they hug each other. And when they do that, it's saying, I got you. I will finish this for you. They work on their craft, but they also work on each other's as well. They're very aware of what the other is doing, and they're a team within a team. And I think of softball, and it's about pitching. It's always been, and you've got to be able to have that staff that can handle different looks that they're going to see. And I love that our staff can do that. I think about Stacey Chambers. She was injured in her first weekend, and then from there had to get some things situated and rehab and get back. And so it was just taking her a little bit to get back to where she needed to be. And Indiana, we're playing them. We're in the bottom of the 7th. Game is tied up. She hasn't had a lot of innings, and I said, Stacey, let's go. Because she was the matchup, she's a competitor, and I knew that she was going to get it done. And that's what I think about with every one of our pitchers.
Okay, that'll wrap things up for Oregon. Thank you.